So what we're saying to you is, this business of creating, it's not about action. It's not about words. It's about vibrational alignment. It's about allowing yourself to become a vibrational match to who you really are. When you affirm from outside the vortex, when you effort, when you struggle, when you try, all that happens is you amplify the vibration of resistance that you've already got going on. And you make yourself unavailable to the vortex that really wants you, the vortex who is calling you. So one of the first things that we always want to help people to come to personal understanding of is that the larger part of you is source energy in your vortex, aware of you, and not just what you were before you were born into this physical body, but the evolved being as a result of that which you have been doing while you've been here. In other words, the larger part of you has become so much more because you have done what you came to do. You sifted and you sorted and you decided and you expanded, you evolved. You are an eternal being. This is the process of that, you see. So as your vortex has evolved, as the being that you really are has evolved, you have one thing and one thing only to be aware of, and that is, how do I stand right here, right now, in relationship to who I really am? And the emotion of love, the emotion of appreciation, your emotions are your key to let you know how you're doing. So, the first indication that you're not going with the flow of who you really are is a tension and annoyance. If it keeps going, it gets stronger and stronger in negative emotion until eventually there's a manifestation. But it does not matter. It does not matter how manifested the manifestation is. That was very clever, don't you think? It does not matter how much evidence of the resistance is there in the form of manifestation, because what is old news anyway. You see, if you have gone to enough trouble to ignore your guidance system, to parlay your resistance into something that is really tangible, do you know what the really good news is? You've launched so many rockets of desire into this vortex that it is more powerful than any vortex that you know. When we began here today, you were lighted up over there. And we were ignoring you because your desire is powerful, but so is your resistance. So here's this bright light and this bushel over it, and this bright light and this bushel over it, this bright light that is muted. But as the day went on, you came out into the light until you got up here and remembered what your problem is, you said. We want to convince you that the manifestation doesn't matter. That what matters is the request that's in the vortex, the asking that's in the vortex, and the answering that's in the vortex. So now, you just have to find any way you can to chill whenever you can. Find the best feeling thought that you can find when you find it. You don't have to hit this head on. You don't have to effort. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to explain. You don't have to defend. You don't have to justify. You don't have to rationalize. And that's the thing that's the hardest, because when you're standing in a place that you don't want to stand, it's sort of like you want to kind of explain how you got there. And we say, we don't want to know how you got there. It doesn't matter, because over here is where you really are, and this is what has our undivided attention, you see. And when you give that your undivided attention, then in you go. Simple. Cherry and Esther were just with friends and us on a Panama Canal cruise. It was very interesting because they went through some of the locks of the canal, and this massive ship needed to be raised 84 feet. 84 feet. That's what the difference in the water level was from one body of water to the other. There was no rocket ship that launched them, fortunately. It would have been hard on the ship and the passengers if it had happened in that way. Instead, something very clever that was set into motion a long, long time ago. The ship moved in to a lock, and the gate was closed behind them. And then water was added to the lock until the ship was raised. And then, when the ship and the water around it was at the same level as the next lock, the gates opened, and the ship just moved gently, ease and flow, into the next lock. And then again, the gates were closed, more water was added, the ship raised more, the gates were open, and in they went again. until this massive ship with all of these passengers was moved easily, effortlessly, painlessly from one vibrational place, so to speak, to another. We thought the analogy was so appropriate because so often when you're not where you want to be, you badger yourself, or you force yourself, or you effort yourself. You try so hard. It's like trying to jump the 84 feet with this big ship. And we want you to know that if you'll just chill, if you'll just stop doing that thing you do that's keeping you in that resistant vibration, your vibration will raise, the locks to your vortex will open, and in you will go, you see. It is not supposed to be hard for you. Life is supposed to feel good to you. Life is supposed to be fun for you. You are genius creators who have come forth into this magnificent time-space reality. Best environment ever for deliberate creation. You've come because you are creators. We are eager to visit with you about anything that is important to you. You will notice as you watch and hear and participate that our primary intention is to stand inside your vortex where you are, calling you in through the path of least resistance, in the way that is easiest for you to find your way there. We want you to understand that this is not a gathering where we come holding all the answers and you come holding all the questions. It is a gathering of co-creation at its best. You don't even have to sit in this chair to participate, because the thought of that which you are, the thoughts that you have as we are moving along, the energy of who you are, it's all part of this magnificent mix. And you will notice as we are moving through the hours that we are together today, that whether you sit here and verbalize or whether you sit out there and just think and be who you are, that we will hear you clearly, and there is nothing that will be left unanswered as we are moving through this day. We also want you to recognize that it isn't just about questions and answers. It's about expansion and evolution. This gathering has never been before into all of the universe. This is a unique gathering of that which is you and that which is us. Your inner beings are all gathered. In other words, the source within you is present. And so as we play together, talking about the details of things that are important to you, what you are going to feel is the expansion of this vortex. You're going to feel expansion of ideas. We're going to take thought beyond that which it has ever been before. Now, you're doing that all day, every day. You certainly don't need us for that. But what this gathering is going to demonstrate in a way that we are certain that you will feel is that as together we come to these new places, you will feel in the beginning of these launches of these rockets, you will feel this new expanded place to which you may not be up to speed in the moment that it is launched. But as we chew together, you're going to feel yourself coming up to speed. And as you come up to speed with it, the same knowing that we hold about the subject that is at hand will be your knowing as well. Because you will be a vibrational match to that which we have collectively expanded to. You see how it works? When you're in the vortex, you feel clear. When you're in the vortex, clarity is your experience. When you're in the vortex, you feel vital and alive. You feel love. Appreciation and passion are pouring through you when you're in the vortex. In other words, the vortex is a feeling place. It's a confirming place of the wholeness of all that you are. And if you like that feeling enough that you're willing to give up some of the reality that's more vivid, like car crashes and roadkill, well, we're just kidding, because we know there are a lot of things that are beautiful in your world, but there are some things in your world that aren't so beautiful that you still look at because you feel compelled to look at anything that is manifested because it is reality, and you think that because it is reality that it deserves your attention. And we say some of it does, but some of it doesn't. Don't let the fact that it's reality be the compelling reason that you're looking there instead of feeling your way into the vortex. And as you make the decision that you're going to spend less time focused upon what is, especially if some of what is isn't pleasing to you. And you know what's funny? You don't just focus upon what is, you focus upon your imagination of what is going to become that you're not going to like even more. In other words, oh, it's bad now, but it could be so much worse. And so we just want to bring your attention to the fact that you're really good at the what isness and even at using your imagination about the negative what isness. Why not use your desire to feel good as your reason to feel your way into the vortex? And then we never step out of the vortex in order to focus with anyone about anything that they don't want. That's not our job. Our job is step 2 of the process of creation. Step 1, that's your job, but it's not something you have to work very hard at. Life just brings it to you. Contrast causes you to know what you don't want, to know what you do want. So you're launching rockets all day, every day. Step 2, that's our job. Source energy, inner being, non-physical. We stand in the vibrational frequency of the furthest launch that you have offered. And we stand in vibrational alignment with the total package of that which you have expanded to. Through all that you've been living, that's where your inner being, that's where that which you call God stands. In utter knowing of who you are. Step 3 is your job, and it's what the art of allowing is all about. Step 3 is you got to find somehow, some way, thought by thought, subject by subject, day by day, moment by moment, to be in vibrational alignment with who you've become. And if you succeed at it, or if you're sort of succeeding at it, you thrive. You have tears of appreciation running down your face. If you don't accomplish it, then you have something less than that. But it's always there as guidance letting you know. Well, that's as clearly as we've ever spoken it, and you've received it as well as any group of non-believers could it. Well, you see, you don't believe in your vortex in the way we do, because we're standing in it as the vibrational essence of it, and we have full knowledge of all that you've become. So as we stand in full knowledge of all that you've become, we don't fret for a moment about where you stand in the absence of anything you want, because we know it's only a vibration away. You say, oh, it's not just a vibration away, it's a manifestation away. It could be years. And we say, only if you're diligent about poking around where you are. In other words, there could be an instant manifestation. You could be vibrationally up to speed with who you really are now, because who you really are is a done deal. Vibrationally speaking, it's done. But you mostly don't do that because we love you very much. You are so hung up on what is. You've gotten so used to focusing your eyes and ears and fingertips and your nose and your tongue. You are so good at interpreting your physical life through your sensual senses that you are not as practiced at enjoying the vortex, because in the beginning, the vortex isn't vivid to you like real life manifestation is. Look around this beautiful room. Ooh, cool. Look around this beautiful room. In other words, there is so much to enjoy in an environment like this. You get to hear this beautiful voice, infinite intelligence, letting you know who you really are. How delicious is that, to hear that moving through the vibration of your eardrum and get to feel the fullness. You get to see one another in this beautiful room. You were out in the freeways and moving through the city. In other words, physical life experience in all of its manifested glory is so intoxicatingly attractive because you are interpreting it with so many of your senses. And we get it that when you come to a gathering where this man calls his wife Abraham, and she must be a sort of split personality because she refers to herself as we, points at the floor, insists it's a vortex, and tells you to get in it. In other words, there's a vortex. There's a vortex where who you really are is, and we know you look over there and you don't really see the vortex. Because it's a concept that we are painting for you, but it's a reality that you can vibrationally translate into immediate emotion. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. It's very nice coming together with those like you who are coming to understand more and every day who you really are. It is exhilarating to us to acknowledge the physicalness that is you, especially as you begin to deliberately, and you are rare in this, to integrate the non-physical part of that which is you into your day-to-day experiences. You are more than these physical bodies, aren't you?